Okay, so then we're going to talk about graphing quadratics using a table. So what we're going to do here, what does this mean? Anytime I see an x in my equation here, I'm going to replace it with the number that's here. So here it'd be -2 quantity squared. Well, that would give me 4. So here's the first point, which is -2.4. So I'm going to graph that. Go to the x of -2, go up to 4. There's your first point. Then you do the next one, -1 squared, that's 1. So I have a point of -1, 1. Just looks there. And then 0 squared is just 0, so a point of 0, 0. Then you do 1 squared, that's 1, so a point of 1, 1. And then 2 squared is 4, so a point of 2, 1. So then once you do that, you connect your points from left to right. There's your graph. Okay. On this one, this negative is not attached to x. What it's saying is you have -1 times x squared. Okay, so we're going to take each one of those points, which is -2 squared, which is 4, and multiply by -1, so this will be -4. -1 squared is 1, but multiply by -1 is now -1. 0, 0 will stay 0. Okay. 1 squared is 1, 1 times -1 is -1. And then you're going to do 2 squared. 2 squared is 4, 4 times -1 is -4. So let's graph those points. And just graph all 4 of those points, and then you connect from left to right, and it's your graph. Okay. What these are called, these are quadratic functions. We call them in mathematics, their graphs called a parabola. We call them a parabola. Okay. Every parabola is U-shaped. Okay, it's U-shaped. Okay. If the number in front of the x squared term here is positive, that means it's going to open up. So here, if x, the number in front of x squared is positive, it's going to open up. So that's a positive there. Okay. If the number in front of x squared, like this one, is negative, that means it's going to open down. So it's going to look like this. It's going to come up and down like that. That's when you have a negative number in front of the x squared. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. So what we're going to do with these, we're going to make ourselves the chart. Okay, first we're going to determine if they open up or down, and then we're going to make ourselves the chart. So to open up or down, we're going to look at the x squared term here. The number in front is positive. So it's positive, it's positive 3. So that means it's going to open up. So we're going to make ourselves a chart. Okay. Okay, where you can make them as many numbers as you want. I'm going to do -1, 0, 1, 3 is 3. What that means, every time in the equation I see a x, I'm going to replace it with -1. So our equation is 3x squared plus 8x plus 6. So it's 3 times -1 squared plus 8 times -1 plus 6. And notice this, every time I saw an x, I put -1. You always do the exponent first. Okay, so always do the exponent first. So this part first, -1 squared is 1. So it's 3 times 1 plus 8 times -1 plus 6. Then we're going to do each multiplication. So we're each of these. So 3 times 1 is 3. 8 times -1 is -8. And then we always do from left to right. So we'll do this one first. 3 minus 8 is -5. And then -5 plus 6 is +1. So at -1, we have a point at 1. 0 is very simple. 0 is always just the last number in this problem. So the last number here is 6. So 0, 6. And then we got to do it at 1. So let's do again. So the first step again, anytime you see an x, we're going to replace it with our number, which is 1 in this case. Okay, always do the exponent first. So 1 squared is 1. Okay, then we do each multiplication. 3 times 1 is 3, 8 times 1 is 8. Then we add from left to right. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 plus 6 is 17. So about 1, we have a point at 17. That's it. And then you graph each one of those points and it would start to form your shape. Okay? So the next one. Again, to determine if it's up or down, look at the number in front here. Remember, there's an imaginary 1. That 1 is positive. So that means this is going to open up. Okay? Make ourselves our XY chart. Again, negative 1, 0, and 1 are the 3 easiest numbers to do. So let's do the first one. Okay, so it's going to be 1 squared. Okay. Then we do, remember, we do each. The exponent next, so it'd be 1. Then each multiplication, which in this case we only have the 1. And we add from left to right, so that would be 5. And 5 minus 1 would be 4. So negative, at 1 it's 4. I accidentally did it backwards. So at 1 it's 4. Okay, see that's always the last number, which is negative 1. And then we're going to do negative 1. X squared plus 4x minus 1. We're going to do negative 1 now, so it's going to be negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1. And negative 1 squared is, always do the squared term first. Negative 1 squared here is 1. Then do our multiplications. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Then we add from left to right, so that's negative 3. And that'll be negative 4. So negative 1, it is negative 4. And there's our rest of our chart. This is the last one. Okay, we're going to look at the number in front of x squared again. In this case, it is negative. Negative. That means this is going to open down. Okay, so again, make our xy chart. Negative 1, 0, and 1. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So it's negative x squared plus 7x minus 3. Remember, there's an imaginary negative 1 here, so it's really saying negative 1 times x squared. Negative 1 times x squared. Okay, so it's going to be negative 1 times our x, which is negative 1 squared, plus 7 times our x again, which is negative 1, minus 3. Okay, always do the exponent first. Negative 1 squared is 1. So it's negative 1 times 1 plus 7 times negative 1 minus 3. Then do each multiplication. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. Then do your additional subtractions. Negative 1 minus 7 is negative 8. Negative 8 minus 3 is negative 11. So when x is negative 1, y is negative 11. Again, for 0, it's always this last number back here, which is negative 3 in this case. So something simple for those. And then the last one is negative 1x squared, 7x minus 3. This time x is going to be 1, so it's negative 1 times 1 squared plus 7 times 1 minus 3. Okay, exponents first. So 1 squared is 1. And all your multiplications, negative 1 times 1 is negative 7 times 1 is 7. Make that your minus 3. Add and subtract, so negative 1 plus 7 is 6. And 6 minus 3 is 3. So when x is 1, our y is 3. So you again, to graph them, you would graph each one of those points and get your next graph. Alright, on these we're just determining if they open up or down. So look at the number in front of x squared, which is negative 8 here, so it's negative. That means it's going to open down. On this one, it's tricky because the x squared is actually here, and it's positive 7, so it's positive. that means it's going to open up. Now here, at the very, very end, it's -1. That means it's going to open down. Okay, so you got to be careful. You got to look for the number in front of x squared for determining that. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but the vertex is the highest or lowest point on the graph. If the parabola opens up, then the vertex is considered a minimal. So if it opens up like this point on the bottom here is at the very, it's called a minimal. Okay, if it opens up or down, that means I have a maximum, because our point now appears at the top of our graph, our vertex. So it opens up like that. That point right there is our maximum. Okay, so the next slide we just need to determine if we have a minimum or a maximum. So we look at the point at the very there, that would be a maximum. Okay, because it appears at the top of the graph. This point right here would be a minimum. Okay, let's say if I gave you something like this. Okay, we first need to determine if it opens up or down. So because this is positive, that 3 for the x squared, that means this is going to open up. Since it's open up, that means I have a minimum. Then what if I gave you something like this? Okay, what's the number for x squared? Here it's negative. Negative, that means it's going to open down, and therefore I have a maximum value.